My fellow listeners, it is with great regret that I inform you all today that Rodrick does not rule. It is a day that will live forever in infamy. But I know that if we band together, we will get through this dark period of our time.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Here's the first movie.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Peel that pig and slice him thick.
The body count is always bigger.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
The fucking trees walked in those movies. Hi, doggy.
What a story, Mark.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled.
It's just like your opinion, man.
Life moves pretty fast.
If you want your sequel to become a franchise.
37 dicks.
In a row?
I'm your number one fan.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Marathon Me with your hosts, Rhys
and Kane.
And we are back today with another Marathon Me update episode, going back and revisiting the Diary of a Wimpy Kid franchise, because there's a new one that just came out of nowhere, it felt like, to me anyway.
Yeah, no, it was the same. I actually forgot that they were making more of these animated, not remakes, these just animated adaptations of the books and all that. Like, I mean, you forgot that the first one existed, right?
Oh, yeah, I keep on forgetting that the first one even existed.
I think we all did, honestly.
After watching it as well, it's like, how did this even get a sequel?
I don't know. Like, was it financially successful? The first one?
So that's the thing with streaming things, right? Is that on Disney Plus, it just had to have enough people to click it that probably would have clicked on it to put it on for their kids or something in the background. Didn't need to be good. It just had to have an IP behind it to make it interesting and have a parent put it on for their child. And that's what would have made it successful.
Yeah, and I think also because, it's just like any old cartoon, or it doesn't matter about the quality. The parents are just like, oh, this is nice, put it on. And it's like, they're not long either, and they're not exactly complex movies. So they're not demanding the child's attention.
Also, wouldn't have cost that much money, it looks like. So...
It definitely does not look like it costs a lot of money, these films.
But anyway, before we get into the actual film...
Oh, you're going to give some life updates?
I'm just here to... I just wanted to say that this is our first post-Sydney podcast that we're recording.
Yeah,
since I have moved to Sydney, because a lot of the other American Pie podcasts that you all would have just heard, they were all done in a backlog sort of thing. So now this is our fourth set that we have used for Marathon Me, which is in so we're in sort of like a weird shed area connected to my parents' house that used to be a salami room before we moved in.
Salami room?
What? Look at the room.
Yeah.
It looks like that you could hang salamis around in here, right?
I mean, that's not the first thing I would have thought of coming in here, but hey, if you want to put salami in here, then, go off, Kings.
And we thought that it probably wasn't the best use of space to have a whole room dedicated to salami making, so instead, it's now like a storage area and now podcast set.
Well, I mean, you can also maybe put up some salamis if you so desire and all that.
We totally could. It would give a little bit more atmosphere and quench our nostrils when we're recording the podcast.
It would also help. It would also satisfy the one fly that's in the set right now.
Oh yeah. Hopefully you guys can't hear that, but there's a fly that's just going around being really really loud. Yeah. But it's far enough away from the mic that it should be fine.
We've got a nice little captive audience member at the moment. He's coming to observe us in our elements. And our first post Sydney episode. Our first episode in the Sydney era.
Yeah. So then we have to have a guest, which is this fly going around.
God bless.
And I think that we should introduce the film, which is Diary of a Wimpy Kid 2, Rodrick Rules, 2022.
This seems a bit familiar, Rhys.
Okay, time to go.
You can't leave me and Rodrick alone together for a whole weekend.
Don't forget to unload the dishwasher.
I can teach you lots of things, little brother. I call it my Rodrick Rules. Don't you mean Rodrick's Rules? Rodrick Rule number 1, no apostrophes or any other nerd stuff. We are loaded diaper! 1, 2, 3, 4!
You never doctor!
Whoa! It's party time!
You never miss it!
So, what's rule number 2? You only get one rule a week. That's Rodrick Rule number 2. That's not fair! Rule number 3. Life's not fair. And now you made me break rule number 2. Rodrick's been taking me under his wing, been teaching me a bunch of stuff. What kind of stuff? You've got potential, little bro.
The trailer itself is pretty run-of-the-mill, just whatever. But something that caught my eye at the very end is that they say parents stream it on Disney Plus. Not just stream it on Disney Plus, it's just parents. Like, they know that no sane-minded person above the age of 10 is going to watch this unless you're a parent showing your child under the age of 10.
Put this on for visual stimuli for your children on Disney Plus.
Yeah, nothing else engaging, just nice visual stimuli to keep your kids quiet for 1 hour.
But is it even nice visual stimuli? Because so we watched this in crisp 4K up in my brother's bedroom.
The way it was meant to be watched.
Yeah, I know, right? And man, the animation, immediately struck me to look like a kid's PS2 game cutscene.
It does not look good. I wasn't thinking PS2. I was thinking more so like that works as well. I was just thinking it just looks like one of those cheap games that you get on Steam for $5 and all that, especially with a lot of the background assets in this movie just look like cheap layouts in a video game,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's just something on Steam.
All of them do look like just props that's put in there, and it's with how I sort of hate just how unnatural all the locations look here. You go into the basement and it's so clean and crisp, and there's nothing there.
It's also really big as well. There's multiple rooms in the basement.
Oh yeah, the basement's a whole other freaking beast. But, this animation I am not a fan of. It's definitely tried to be a little bit more experimental than the last one that we saw, but still is ultimately not endearing.
It's I didn't want to go into this movie hating it, because I can't say I hate the first one that came out. It just did nothing for me. I felt nothing from it. And this one, I will say, honestly, the tiniest bit better than the previous. I at least remember some stuff about this one. I'll at least remember some stuff a week from now. But nothing stood out to me. And the animation, it solidifies my point that I had about the first movie that came out last year. Jeff Kinney's art style does not translate well into a 3D environment.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. The last one that was made for Disney Plus, I feel I really disliked in reflection, because it feels like that it empties your mind. Your brain just feels like an empty husk watching that film. This one is a little bit like that, but there's a little bit more to grasp onto, because there's more sort of themes I think going on with the source material is a lot stronger than the original book. So I think that's maybe what it is adding to Rodrick Rules. But still, for the most part, I was not having a great time.
No, me neither. The only kind of reason I think I was having a good time watching this movie was mainly just because it just felt it felt really good to just be back doing a Marathon Me viewing experience,
Yes, it has been months since we've watched a movie together.
It has been very long, and I think that the last one we watched was American Pie Girls Rules.
What a... Can I please just highlight as well how fun it is that we're giving this Marathon Me update in the middle of our American Pie franchise?
I know, this is very, it feels almost inappropriate in a way,
Very left of field.
I know, we've been talking about, movies made for adults only and all that, very, raunchy humor, raunchy sex humor, and now we're talking about just some garbage kids movie that came out, earlier. This movie came out on December 2nd.
Yeah.
This movie just came, we said it in the intro, this movie came out of nowhere.
Yeah, completely. So you guys will be getting it a whole, we weren't all on top of it, so we didn't get it out on the first week of its release, so you're going to be hearing this probably a month after its release.
No.
So yeah, I know, upsetting, but yeah, geolocation was the reason why.
The people need to. The people are probably itching and begging to know what the Marathon Me boys think about Diary of a Wimpy Kid 2 Rodrick Rules 2022.
I reckon people just thought that we would have overlooked it, but no.
No, we're back. No, we got to make sure we get you guys the content you deserve. And when The Last Straw comes out next year, which it will, we'll be covering that as well.
I think that it is. I think that there's a couple that have already been greenlit.
Yeah,
and it'll just be...
It's definitely going to be a yearly release schedule.
I think so.
And
think so.
I hate that. You know what I think the worst part is about these new movies that are coming out? at a certain point, these movies, I think, are going to overshadow the live-action trilogy.
No.
No. Here's the thing. Because I feel like parents, think about it. You're a parent. What are you going to have your kids watch? A live-action movie, they're called Wimpy Kid, or the same thing, but animated and shorter, and asking a lot less from a child's attention span. I feel like parents are going to look at the animated movies, and they're going to choose that over the live action ones. Like I can definitely see that happening.
True, that's not a bad point.
It's kind of like when you have like when your kids like when you get your kids your first iPad and all that, they just slap on like that crap, like those like really god awful cartoons like Cocomelon and all that. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it sort of like matches the sort of just like child distraction culture of parenting.
Yeah.
Of just like, here you go, here's some stimuli to keep your brain working.
I thought of the word for that type of animation style. I don't remember what it is now. It's like not factory made. It was like,
it feels very assembly line made.
Assembly line made. There was another word that I had for it, but yeah, assembly line made works perfectly. But that's the sad thing. Also, because like, are the Diary of a Wimpy Kid live action movies, are they on Disney Plus? They are.
Yes, yeah, they would be.
Okay, they are. But I still stand by it. I think parents are going to choose the animated ones over the originals. And like, I don't want that to be the case, but I'm worried that that's probably what's going to happen.
Can I give my prediction of where these animated movies are going to go?
Sure.
They're going to go Last Straw and Dog Days, but then they'll finish there. I don't think that they'll go to The Ugly Truth.
You reckon?
Yep, I think that's where they're going to cut it off.
No, I mean, I hope so, but I don't know, man. This is Disney we're talking about. They'll milk the hell out of this.
Just to have more items on that platform.
Yep. Well, because I haven't been on Disney Plus in forever. So after we watched the movie, just looking through some of the shovelware that was there.
Yeah, we were just browsing the catalog today, and it just didn't look good. It didn't look good. It just looked like it was all about just content and getting the number of content higher and higher.
Yeah.
In the same way of like when you go through Netflix now, it looks like that it's just trying to put as many things out there as possible instead of actually good sort of like film.
It's literal content farming. That's the word I wanted to say earlier. It's content farming.
Yeah,
that's what
completely.
it is. It's like it's not made with any passion or anything. It's just there for one, money, and then also just for content's sake.
Like, have you seen any of Wednesday? Like the Netflix series Wednesday?
No, I don't really, because like I like Addams Family, but like I don't have any interest in this at all. Like, yeah, I don't care. A lot of like those like big trendy Netflix shows that always keep coming out, I have no interest in any of them really. Like, you get the odd like Squid Game and Stranger Things, I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. But then apart from that, I don't care for any of that kind of stuff.
I do not get how Wednesday is so popular. Actually, no, I do, because when watching so I watched the first episode.
Oh, you did?
And I hated it.
Oh, you hated it?
I hated it because I felt like it was written by an algorithm, and it was something that was trying so hard for me to like it without actually being good.
Yeah.
And trying to like manipulate me into liking it.
It feels like very like try harder, you'd say.
Yeah, complete. Analyzed Netflix's algorithm like to such a T that then they wrote the script based off of this algorithm so closely, and then didn't feel like any sort of artful property. It felt like just content farming and like manipulating its audience almost. Demographic whoring almost.
you know what's funny, ironic, because like, that show is also I don't know if it's directed, but I know like Tim Burton has a hand in that show.
Oh yeah.
And like Tim Burton ever since like I don't know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, he's just been going through like the content farming stage. Like, do you remember any of his movies post like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? And I only say that because like I grew up watching that, so I have a bit of nostalgia bias to that movie. But like, do you remember any of his movies post like 2000?
Frankenweenie.
Was Frankenweenie good though?
I actually don't know. I just know that Patrick was really into it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Like, I don't know, because like I know he did like Alice in Wonderland. He did that like Miss Peregrine's Home for Weirdos or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah.
And I look at those posters and I'm just like, this is nothing. This is just like, there's no like vision. There's no like, where's the man that like directed Edward Scissorhands, that directed that like had a hand in Nightmare Before Christmas, because he didn't direct it, but he had a hand in it. Like, where's that passion, that vision, you know?
Attaching Tim Burton's name though to Wednesday just feels like auteur shilling, right? Like,
oh
as
yeah,
in just,
definitely.
like, just let's pop his name on here because he is a brand, and that's all.
It's like what a lot of movies do when they like from the producers of blank, or like from producer. Like there was this one movie called The Possession that was like this 2012 horror movie that had like Sam Raimi's name tagged as the producer, and they do that to trick you into being like, oh, this is by this guy that I like. Let me watch this. Like that, I fell for it when I was younger because I like Sam Raimi, so I watched it and I was like, this is garbage. And then I grew up and I was like, oh, he was only a producer in this. Okay, it makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
All of those freaking, like, mid-2000s parody movies say from the producers or from one of the producers of Scary Movie. And it's like...
yeah, that's a real big example, yeah.
Yeah,
oh
and, like, you would see that all the freaking time because that was, like, the golden example of that genre.
Yeah.
But anyways, Rodrick Rules.
Apart from let's get away from our worries about modern film.
What was like almost what almost felt like promising but really weird was this balance in this film where there were details that of the animation and of the style that were actually quite endearing. I thought first thing that I saw.
Yeah, you pointed this out. I didn't see it, so please elaborate.
Okay, first thing, like, object that I saw that I'm like, okay, that has detail and personality put into it, and texture is the loaded diaper van. The van itself, the design of the van actually had texture and like it was dirty and had something going for it where everything is too pristine and symmetrical and fucking lifeless.
Yeah.
So, and then like obviously later on we saw the drum kit for some reason.
See the drums, that's the one thing I noticed that was slightly outstanding. Like that I was like, ooh, they put an extra $5 into that texture pack. Let's go.
Yeah, that was like it was like the whole film was made in like Unity 4.0, but then they had like an asset from Unity 5.0 or something.
Yeah, they can only afford the one the one shader, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like how weird. So then there's like when they introduced the drum kit, it's really cinematic and crisp and clean.
And like some of the shots in there were decent, like showing off the drums, especially with the combination of like the orangey yellow lighting that they were using, and like the beautiful red and the beautiful like scuffed red sheen on the drums. Like I was like, wow, that actually, I'm somewhat interested. Not much, but I'll take it.
If anything, though, it just highlighted to me how much I hated the animation of all the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Because it has this, like, big sort of cinematic showcase of the drum kit, and then it pulls out to show, like, Greg in the garage, and it's just a white, lifeless room. And it's like, oh, well, this is one asset in an entire film that actually looks interesting.
It's ridiculous, man. It's like, it's really sad to just see like animated films like this that people will show their kids and just like see this just lifeless like bore of visual stimuli. Like, you know, you go back to like the old Disney movies, they are packed full of life in the visual aspect, and then you watch something, and then when watching this, it's just like, there's nothing to attach to. I'm not going to remember a single, like, shot from this, you know? And I doubt kids are going to remember, like, any sort of, like, frame from this movie, you know?
It's like, it's just lacking all style.
Yeah.
Style is devoid in this film.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you know, they had to keep it consistent. You know, the first one lacked any sort of style whatsoever.
They're at least, like, I think that the voice acting was slightly better in this one.
Well,
like,
you know, it was definitely better because the mum wasn't recording her lines via Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. The mum wasn't freaking, like, you didn't hear distortion and, like, almost, like, buffering in her freaking boat.
If anything, that's kind of worse, though, because now it's just... But that's kind of worse, because then it just makes it performance like very, like... A lot of the performances are just, like, nothing for me, honestly.
They're really, really empty voice performances, all throughout.
The voice acting, yeah, I do agree. It has improved a little bit. Mainly just because I think, like the actors, like, you know, grew up a bit. Like, the guy playing Greg, like... He's okay, like, he's fine, he's just a kid playing a kid, but there's nothing to him.
His opening monologue, I hated his opening monologue. I was just like, man, this is the most basic child voice that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. There's no snide, like, pretentious up himself attitude that, like, Zachary Gordon had. There's not even, like, even... I hate that I'm giving credit to The Long Haul, but at least there was a bit more personality with the Greg in that movie. Like, I hate to give credit to that movie, but there was personality. Like, I could look at this kid like, yeah, that's a wimpy kid right there.
Man, The Long Haul would have worked better, that script and those, like that voice cast, if it was done in animation, because it was so crazy and, like, elevated, right?
Yeah, honestly.
Where like, here, it's just so flat and level.
Yeah, devoid of life.
Yeah, completely. And man, that even going down to the story as well, it's just beat after beat after beat with no color.
Yeah. No.
Like 5 minutes into, literally 5 minutes into the film,
that caught me off guard.
it gets to the party.
Yeah.
This is like,
it's terrible.
This is like almost end of first act in like the film, in like the
maybe,
live action film.
Yeah, half an hour to 40 minutes into the film after like establishing their characters and having a bit of back and forth between Greg and Rodrick. And now with this, it's like 2 minutes into the movie, the parents are like, okay, we're leaving. And Greg's like, no, I can't stay with Rodrick and all that. And there's no like build up to it. It's just like, all right, we're going to get through. We're going to go through the motions.
Yeah, just let's get through.
Yeah, as you said, beat for beat for beat. And that's a problem that the rest of the film has. It's just scene after scene after scene. Yet there's no downtime to establish and develop the relationship between brothers.
So, okay, let's get through this. Let's get through this now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the attitude we're having.
Yeah.
That's the attitude I'm feeling right now with this
I know, right?
movie.
I'm ready to just get to the end of it. Okay, I have some interesting points though later on to bring up.
Yeah.
But like, there's no likability of like Rodrick and freaking Greg.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're very likable throughout this much at all.
No.
And then they just like, and then also, eventually in the climax, like, Greg screws over Rodrick in a way that he hasn't screwed him over before in any of the live action films. And then they forgive each other after this? Like, I didn't understand that.
Are you talking about like the climax of the film?
Climax,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. That is, I don't, like, because like, if that happened in the live action movies, Rodrick would have like disowned him.
Broken. Yeah, that would have broken them.
Yeah, and then in this one, it's just like, oh, you did this thing and I'm hurt by it, but now we're friends after like one conversation.
So just to give context, when Loaded Diaper, when Rodrick is grounded and can't perform in Loaded Diaper, they ask Greg to fill in for him as the drummer, and he's like, oh, do I do it? And then he does.
Yeah,
he decides to do it.
He does it like to stick it to Rodrick and all that, because Rodrick's like, oh, lame talent show.
Rodrick starts crying and is broken, and then goes outside and Greg's like, I'm sorry, and then it's like, okay, we're all friends now.
Yeah.
What?
It definitely, it dampens like the one, because like I will admit, that scene of them reconciling, it's the one scene where I was like, okay, there's something good there in terms of the relationship, but there's nothing, like, it's there was no build up towards it. There was nothing. They felt like they needed to put it there just to have the requisite, like, oh, the brothers forgive each other now, so that even one okay scene like that, it means nothing. It means nothing.
Did it get you teary, Kane?
Yeah, made me teary because I realised there was only 5 minutes left.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was crying tears of joy.
We're finishing this up. Thank God.
I'll just say, man, for a movie that's an hour and 16 minutes, this dragged.
Oh my God,
this dragged, man.
Especially, like, I realised with, I think like start of third act, I'm like, okay, now I just want this to end.
Yeah.
The rest of it,
you kept checking the runtime near the end, and I'm like, yeah, I feel the same, man.
Like the start, I didn't hate as much. I was just sort of like, okay, I'm taking this in. It's whatever. But then I started to actually get antsy and like, oh, like, God,
we're right in this.
Yeah. Come on, just finish it. Come on, like, it's already fast enough, the story beats, just get it faster. Just keep it going faster.
Yeah, I can't believe for a movie with that short of a runtime would have the audacity to drag that much.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable.
One more inconsistent thing in this film is that for some reason, the grandpa, I think, is animated with detail, and like more detail than most of the other characters that actually has some sort of style to him.
Yeah.
And then also his voice acting has quite a bit of personality.
It sounded like an actual voice actor doing him.
Did.
I don't know who he is, but like it sounds like a guy that like I might know.
Well, I did some research, and this is when I gasped out loud during the film.
Okay.
So This actor, his name is Edward Asner.
Oh, this is the guy that they dedicated the film to because he passed away during that movie.
He died.
Yeah.
This was his last film. He has 410 IMDb credits.
Wow, are you serious?
And he is the voice actor who does Carl from Up.
No.
Yep.
No, are you serious?
I am not even kidding.
What?
He does Carl from Up, and he also did he's done 410 other things.
Yeah,
that has been
like
working for like
prestigious-
50 plus years.
Wow.
And is actually like has quite a lot of stuff that he's done.
Okay, no,
he's been in Family Guy and American Dad. a
Oh, there
bunch.
we go. Market quality right
Like
there.
he's been in a butt ton of things, but mostly, like most famously is Carl, of course.
What?
Yep.
That's
and this is his last film before dying.
That is depressing.
And would have only died months after recording this.
That is your last piece of work right there.
Because you saw that he died in 2021.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So like it would have been right after the film wrapped up and all that.
Yeah, it would have been right after.
That is so sad.
Is this not
What?
But kudos to him that it is the only compelling voice work in this film.
Okay, yeah, no wonder, like, we were both like, oh my god, this guy actually, like, knows how to voice act and actually has a bit of life to his character.
And this is not just us trying to, like, blow smoke up of the ass of the dead, because we were saying this before we knew that he died.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
But I just, like, my jaw dropped at that moment when I realized this.
My jaw's on the ground right now. Like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still trying to fathom it.
And also, you can totally picture this voice connected to Carl, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, without a doubt. When I saw that, I was like, of course.
Yeah.
Which also, like, one of my favorite, like, Up is my favorite Disney film of, like, all time, I would say.
I wouldn't say it's mine, but granted, I haven't watched it in years. But, like, I really do love Up, though.
That has the same effect that The Last of Us has, where that opening, every single time, no matter how many times I see it, it pulls at my heartstrings like nothing else.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, can't blame you, man. Like, the opening's bloody amazing.
And his voice work is fantastic in it.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
It's an iconic performance.
Oh, iconic performance and also just iconic character as well. You know what's funny? Speaking of Carl, I just want to quickly say something. Just a little quick tangent.
Go for it.
I was at work a couple of weeks ago. We're packing up and all that, and there was this one girl that just like looks at me. Like, I barely talk to this girl. She just looks at me and is like, "Hey, you know who you look like?" And I'm like, "Who?" You look like the old man from Up. And I've got the most just dumbfounded expression on my face. I'm like, how? How do I look like Carl from Up? Explain yourself. And she's like, because of the glasses. And I'm like, huh? What? Like, and then ever since then, every time I'd see her at work, she'd always be like, "Hi, Carl."
You just spit on her.
Yeah, I'd just be fuming. I'd just be yelling at her every time. But like, I still don't get it. It's like, man has glasses. Man, he's the guy from Up. Like,
you know what it is? Looking at you right now, it's your hair as well. It's the way that your hair is positioned is also like Carl's style.
I guess, but like, god damn, this is funny as well because I think this happened right after I turned 22. So, man, I guess I am old.
You're getting
damn,
old,
bro.
man.
I guess I'm gonna have to make my way to Paradise Falls. So it seems.
Yeah, well, good movie. Well, good character to be compared to.
Oh yeah, no, you know, like there's worse characters to be compared to, but it's like. It's so stupid.
It is very weird.
I just remembered that now, and I was just like, oh yeah, I want to tell you about this since we're in the topic of Up.
Oh, no, some other things that Ed Asner is that he played Santa and Elf, like the Santa.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's in Cobra Kai.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so like just a crazy amount of things.
Damn.
I was in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2.
2?
Yep, in the sequel.
Wow, I never even saw the original Christmas Vacation.
So there's like, a lot of, he was a big dude and then finalized his career with this. Little cherry on top.
You know, you gotta go. I mean, there is a line in the trailer that's like one of Rodrick's rules is always go out with a bang. So his final film, he ended his career with a bang.
Following the Rodrick rules.
Rest in peace, King.
Yeah, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Ed Asner.
Oh, man.
But pretty much, like, are you ready to sort of, like, wrap this up and give your final thoughts on the film?
Yeah, like, there's not much to really say. Oh, No, actually, we've got one point I wanna yell at you about.
Okay.
You called the mum hot in this movie.
Don't expose.
Care to explain?
No, not the actual mum. The voice actor. The voice actress.
Go on.
So
let's hear him out.
There was a bit of inflection in her voice that I'm like, oh, okay, that's like an attractive voice in certain lines. And then I looked up the voice actress, and she was stunning.
Oh yeah, nice.
So and like you cannot deny that.
No, I cannot deny. I didn't notice the voice having any inflections of like, damn, that is beautiful.
I noticed a little bit of beauty inflection here and there.
Yeah.
But I just sort of I looked past it until I was going through the IMDb, and I was like, ooh, okay.
Oh my god.
So yeah, just really, really, really strange.
Yeah,
side note.
sorry. I just wanted to put you on the spot for a second.
That's fair. That's fair. Sometimes you got to be put on the spot to defend yourself. And
exactly.
I think I did it quite well.
Yeah, exactly, man. You handled yourself very well.
And speaking of the mum, just to like really quick talk about the dad as well. Still, I don't mind the dad in this. I think the dad has some sort of personality.
What personality? He doesn't have anything in this movie.
He's a little bit he's a little bit like goofy and like he's not like a really firm father, like a stereotypical father figure, I don't think.
He's just a father. He's nothing. He's just like, oh, he's the dad. We gotta have a dad in this. Like he's just like, because like in the books, the dad sucks. Frank Heffley sucks in the books. He has no character, no personality in the books. He's just the dad. And that's how I felt in this movie. Yeah, there was a tiny bit of life because he had like some goofy voice moments, but like, Look, I don't want to compare this movie to the original trilogy. All right, I wanted to go into these movies without comparing them, but like, I'm sorry, man, but Steve Zahn, like, he left such a mark as Frank Heffley that like it's hard to overlook.
Oh yeah, completely.
It's hard to overlook what came before. And watching it, I'm trying to like see this new Frank Heffley as like his own interpretation, but like. Again, I'm sorry, there's nothing to it. He's just like, oh, I'm the dad, and oh no, Susan's dancing, and that's embarrassing. Oh, you better not have any parties. Like, it just felt half-hearted, honestly, to me.
Like, he's no Steve Zahn, but I think he has 10 times more personality than the long haul father, who was just business dad.
Oh yeah, actually,
like that's why I like appreciate that there's more expression in this cartoon character, this fairly lifeless cartoon character, than there is in the freaking business dad of the long haul.
Okay, well, all right. Well, you know what? Yeah, animated Greg Heffley can go second on the list of the top 3 Frank Heffleys.
Yes,
that
is exactly.
Not saying much though. Does not make me like him anymore.
It's at least like it's 10 times above the other one though. Yeah, so there's something to say there.
Yeah, but then again, also the long haul dad made me feel rage and frustration. This one made me feel nothing. So that's just my thoughts right there.
Everything else in that film made me feel rage and frustration. So I feel like that Frank Heffley didn't have much on top of that. Like didn't really add much to that fury.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. There's but like all the rage and frustration. You could tell me all the character names in Long Haul. I could give you separate reasons as to why each character individually pissed me off, including that stupid godforsaken pig.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Dude, I swear to God, if they do make more of these animated ones, I cannot wait if they do Long Haul. I cannot wait if they do like an animated Long Haul movie.
I dread this possibility, but I don't think it will happen. I think they'll go to Dog Days and that they'll give up.
Look, if they don't do it, then that's great. But if they do it, well, we're gonna be there for it.
Oh God,
we will be in our late 20s when that happens.
Oh my God,
we'll be in our late 20s talking about terrible kids movies, but we'll be here.
I just also want to appreciate that this is probably the most in depth that anyone has gone online on this film.
Oh, definitely. Oh, no.
I want to, please let us know, audience, if you found anyone going deeper in depth with Rodrick Rules 2022.
Well, someone has to do it, and you know what? We're the first to do it.
Exactly.
We're charting into uncharted
breaking new ground, man.
Yeah, exactly, breaking new ground.
So my final thoughts on this film, just to get them out of the way, is it feels like a film stripped to its bones. Like the live action film is only around 20 minutes longer than this.
Really?
Yes. it only has 20 minutes more than this film
And
does.
that film flies by, but I'm like having a great time.
And all the color and personality and texture added to that film in those 20 minutes. Even when there's like whole new plot points added in there, how the live action film opens up the rink, the roller rink,
and then like
shit like that.
You mean like Holly Hills and also there's no I don't think there was a Holly Hills in the books though, so like I guess I can't really fault the movie for that.
In this movie, there's pretty much just like the Heffley family and Rowley. Those are the only characters.
There's only like 2 scenes of them being in 3 scenes of them being in high school. One of them being the talent show sequence. So there's only 2 scenes of like actual school stuff, and only one of them is an actual interior shot of the school. The other one's an exterior.
Fregley makes a cameo appearance, and that is it, covered in makeup.
Oh yeah.
And then there's no freaking. Her name's not Gina, is it? What's the
Patty?
Patty. There's no Patty Farrell.
No Patty. No. Our boy Chirag's not there.
There's no Chirag. There's none of these colorful characters that make up the ensemble.
Yeah, I know. It's upsetting, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just this. You know what?
It's a skeleton.
You know what? I'll give this movie one. Actually, I'll let you finish. Your
That's all.
Oh, okay, that's all.
That's pretty much all. Just absolute
what? You
drag.
didn't have more to say about this movie, about this new modern animation classic?
I think they were doing the audience a favor by just touching on it and not taking up a whole day of it.
Look. Here's how I'll wrap this up. If there's one prop I can give this movie, it makes me want to go watch the 2011 Rodrick Rules. And you know what? I'll take any excuse to watch the original Rodrick Rules. So
awesome.
I'm happy for that.
Man,
so.
I'll leave you all with a piece of advice. Don't watch this film and watch the original Rodrick Rules instead.
Because Rodrick most certainly does rule. Good night, everybody.
And don't forget to check out our Facebook page at Marathon Me Official, all one word, and our Instagram, MarathonMe_official, to keep up to date on the podcast. And hey, if you want to get into contact with us, email us at marathonmepodc, yes, the letter C, @gmail.com. Like podcast without the ask.